Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
We're live. So we have a special guest today. Joseph.
Yes. Hello.
Last
hello.
name's omitted.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Thanks for
Calm
having me
down.
on, guys.
Yeah, man.
no
Welcome
problem.
back.
The missing episode. We'll see if
Yeah.
that ever comes back.
Technically, Joe's second time here.
Mhm.
First guest and second guest.
Let's get right to it because this could be a really long episode because,
Oh,
Good. So
because we could be talking like a whole hour about what we want to talk about, which is
yeah.
physicists going on to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Right.
We're three graduate students in a room, and
All physics.
Yeah.
physics. Yeah, I'm amateur, but at least I feel like I'm
Amateur.
An amateur.
We're almost professional
Yeah.
by now.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I have a lot of imposter syndrome though. So
Not
Yeah.
everyone feels that way.
everyone,
Yeah, I
you
feel like
think
that's
everyone-
universal.
Yeah, I think-
well, I don't, but
See, that's what I'm saying. I know you don't.
I'm just a
Nah,
cocky bastard anyway.
Joe, do you feel like you have
Oh
imposter
yeah,
syndrome?
yeah, of course, hardcore,
Yeah.
super bad. But I think like Berkeley did a study on it or whatever, and like
Yeah.
it's like the number was ridiculous on the amount of people who feel that way. I think it was like over 90%.
Fuck.
Have,
What do you think that
believe
is? Is that because like?
I think it has to do with the culture of physics. Like there's like, people complain about intellectual hazing where we study.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably prevalent like everywhere.
Yeah.
They're kind
In
of just
physics for sure.
they're kind of just like assholes and kind of expect you to know everything. And if you don't, they kind of hold it over you. So,
True.
Right. Everybody's supposed to be Einstein.
right.
It's
Well,
like,
that's
guys, that's not a good standard to
That
have.
goes to my point. Yeah, like there's a lot of comparison of a real physicist is someone like Einstein and the
Yeah.
greats. Anything else, and you're I think
You're
it leads to
garbage.
the imposter
Yeah.
syndrome thing, where it's like, oh, you're not good enough to be a real physicist, then you're
Right.
not a physicist in the
Right.
eyes of, like academics.
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe an issue of academics in general, right?
Yeah, probably.
Because
Yeah.
I think if you talk to experimentalists, I don't know if you guys had a lot of experience with experimentalists. Have
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Mhm.
in your undergrad, did you work like?
Yeah. I mean, I did research very similar to yours in condensed matter experiment for like 2 years.
But I
So,
feel like they're experimentalists are more humbled.
Yeah.
Like, right.
yeah, exactly.
That's been my experience, at least. Like they're a lot more understanding of like, well, not everyone's an academic and
Right.
like purely in it for like the theory of everything and shit. So
Well, it kind of makes sense why theorists are a little bit more crazy too. It's just the fact that they can only take on X number of students. Like an experimentalist, you can see them typically have people with like 4 people, 5 people in a group,
Yeah,
whereas a theorist will have like 1 person.
right.
So they can be more selective and more kind of, I guess, have higher expectations because they need to weed people out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes sense at some level.
Yeah. But I don't know. Well, this whole talk about imposter syndrome, I think, I mean, Eric Weinstein was recently on Joe's show, right? And he kind of talked about, he's like, well, I'm not, like, he kind of backed away from his position and said, well, I'm not a real physicist. Like,
Right.
Well, he's a mathematician.
right.
Yeah.
Right. But at the same time, he was talking about these topics with such confidence about,
Yeah.
like,
Well, you know how it is. Mathematicians and physicists all speak the same language, right?
okay,
So
sure. Yeah.
he can talk about them at that level because it's part of his research and it's part of his domain in some areas.
Okay.
He just can only tiptoe in the actual physics sometimes,
Yeah.
but the mathematics is what describes the physical models, right? So he just gets deeper on the kind of deep abstraction layer and doesn't care so much sometimes, I guess, for the reality part of it.
I see.
You know how it goes. Like physics and math, they're the same, but with slight differences.
Well,
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think it's like probably the barrier to entry to like theory is math, right? So if you understand the math, then you can, kind of wrap your head around these like highly conceptualized, like more difficult topics in physics. So I guess as a mathematician, I mean, he obviously seems pretty intelligent, so he could probably handle these concepts a lot better than
yeah.
most people. So that's why he's interested
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah. No, I mean, but this kind of goes into the whole thing. My complaint, because did you listen to the whole episode?
Yeah, listen to the whole thing.
My complaint was that he goes in as a mathematician and really takes for instance the
He takes the abstraction to the next level and thinks he's simplifying it. Actually, let's just preface this that the whole reason this was an emergency podcast. Juan basically texted me at what was it? Juan at like 9 p.m. or something
on a Monday, or the day after he released that,
or something. Yeah, I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah,
and basically you said we got to do something about these physicists on podcasts, and I was like. Joe Rogan's podcast. I'm like, dude, I'm literally watching this right now as we speak. And what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah. As someone who, I mean, all three of us are in physics, and we kind of have gone through these concepts and stuff. And even I was left with this, like, what the fuck? Why are you going this deep?
Yeah.
Joe, the muscle head Rogan. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Joe Rogan's smart, right?
Yeah.
But
he's a smart guy. He can think deeply, but there's too many layers of information that you have to preface him on to even get to. And even then, he was overcomplicating it.
Right. Yeah.
Because all Joe wanted to know was what the fuck are gauge transformations. Yeah. And he could have. I mean,
which is already something I don't think a layman should be asking, to be honest. Because it's like you kind of have to do math to even care about that, really.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
At some level.
Yeah. So, I don't know. If you guys want to give your take, on gauge, like, how would you answer? How would you guys answer that question? Like, if Joe Rogan asked you, a physicist, how would you answer? What the fuck are gauge transformations? What are gauge symmetries?
Probably not very well. I probably wouldn't even attempt it.
Yeah, I probably just wouldn't answer it. I'd be like, next question. Let's talk about something that's relevant to like normal people's world, Right.
Yeah, I mean, you guys even wouldn't give him the sort of treatment they give us in like something like
quantum
Griffiths?
mechanics or something,
or Griffiths, right?
Like because I couldn't even describe. I don't understand it well enough myself to even describe.
Well,
it.
describe what you do with a gauge, like somebody gives you a gauge.
No. I just would not even attempt that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean,
yeah,
I can't describe it to myself.
I would say that
to even try.
I think who was a physicist that that Joe had originally asked a question about?
That was Lawrence Krauss.
Lawrence Krauss.
Yeah.
I think Lawrence Krauss kind of could have stopped at it's a mathematical tool that is useful at predicting these things. And well, the thing is, he was talking about the Bohm-Aharonov experiment, right?
Oh yeah, who was that? Where Eric Weinstein was?
Yeah. And this was actually really interesting because we haven't even talked about that in our classes.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, actually, I'm only familiar with it because of the research in my group. One of the guys in my group actually was studying that for a part of his research, and that's the only time I heard of it.
Yeah, I only heard of it through just reading Bohm's book on quantum mechanics, but it wasn't really anything that I don't know. I didn't really get the big picture until funny enough, Weinstein said, "Oh, it actually shows that." A potential, because when you're talking about a gauge, you're talking about the B field, right? The B field equals del cross A or whatever, right?
Right.
If you remember,
one. This is for layman, man. Let's not go down Weinstein territory.
But I'm saying like the mathematical thing is just that A. You can define that A, but that A, if it works, if you pick the right A, it gives you the realistic picture of the physics.
See, if you were speaking to Joe Rogan right now, he would have been giving you that look of like, I need another blunt.
No, but I would have said if you pick the right math construct, you will get the good physical answer, which means we're onto something. It's more about like maybe the deeper
That's a
math.
terrible explanation.
Like, I'm not explaining it to him, but I would have approached it in a manner that was kind of like that. I mean, if I was going to go on Joe's show as a physicist, I would talk about the other things in a more like other physicist appearances and like try to answer their shortcomings in a sense. I'm not on Joe's show. I just came here to just try to be like
Well, let me.
the floor up.
I actually. So today I wasn't doing shit really. I wanted to. I basically took notes of. I took the actual quote down of what Eric Weinstein said, and I guess I just wanted to read to you guys what he actually said. Maybe also to the audience, so they don't have to actually go to Joe Rogan's podcast. If you do want to go to the Joe Rogan podcast, though, it's at minute 150 of, well, shoot, I guess not, because it was a clip, I think. It was like a 22-minute clip, and it started about 1 minute 50 seconds.
Something about Joe. I've seen that clip.
Yeah, it's
Joe
just,
gets his mind blown by
by Eric Weinstein explaining gauge symmetry.
Joe drops his cerebral draws in the. This just blows his mind. You know,
that'd be a better title, probably. All right, so this is what he said. So it says this is Eric Weinstein's actual quote from the Joe Rogan podcast. So this is to preface this. This is him trying to explain what he calls the most important object in the universe, and it's called the Hopf.
Oh yeah,
the Hopf.
You got this.
Shit, I forget what it's called because I didn't write it down. It's like the Hopf something. Anyway, he says what you're looking at is a two-dimensional sphere that is the surface of the Earth, where an extra circle is included at every point on the surface of that sphere that you are now visualizing. And that circle, which would be called the fiber, when you take the totality of all the circles together, one for each point on the sphere, they create something called a three-sphere. That is all the points that are 1 unit distance away from the origin in four-dimensional space. So that three-dimensional sphere is the analog of a two-dimensional sphere sitting in three-dimensional space. That's the actual quote that he said, word for word, on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah.
That's crickets. That was crickets because literally, I even spaced out. Like I was like, what?
Yeah,
you
so
remember that fucking whole thing? Yeah.
I didn't understand shit of what that said. And
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
didn't
physics
even know.
graduate student, and Joe Rogan has not even, I don't think he's even taken a physics class. So
Yeah,
that is kind of the thing I feel like physicists run into a lot when they try to explain to laymen. They're like trying to explain it to what they think of like as an undergraduate person in that
no,
field.
but
or
even
something.
then, dude, an undergrad wouldn't even understand.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind
Well,
of true.
it's just, I think that's the whole thing is, my impression is that he's not trying to explain it in layman for most of the stuff. Like, I feel like part of Eric's philosophy, it seems like, is he just wants to explain the complete picture. He doesn't want to dumb down his arguments at all. And then you think about it later and you kind of wrestle with the topic and figure it out.
So then, Joe, do you think he's trying to explain it for the audience?
Yeah, almost.
Okay, so he's kind of looking past Joe Rogan and just saying like, fuck it, I'm just going to explain this to an audience because they'll be able to rewind this and play this back.
Well, yeah, just because what he said was that, you know, I'd rather than Lawrence tried to like make this analogy that's super confusing, I'd rather you have like the actual picture, even though he admits it's confusing as fuck, right? But he's like, I'd rather have you be confused with the truth than, you know.
I did like his little image.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was happening, but it was cool looking.
Right.
So it's nice to see.
It could have easily been the flight routes to Europe. In my head, I was like, am I looking at flight paths of fucking airplanes?
Proves the Earth is flat. Right?
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Right. I didn't know what was happening there.
I think Feynman, if Feynman was alive,
He would be explaining something better.
oh, he would slap the shit out of every physicist that was on the show and be like, you idiots. Because I don't think, I think the physicists can do a better job. Yeah.
I think it's hard, though.
It is
actually
hard.
You know what? I actually think, I don't know, Joe, did you see the Lawrence Krauss? Good explanation.
Yeah. I don't really remember it. It was a while ago, but I did watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, basically, Lawrence Krauss tried to explain it using chessboards.
Yeah.
So he said gauge symmetry has to do with, he started off basically by saying that if you exchange let me preface this for a layman audience. The electron has a negative charge and the proton has a positive charge. He's saying that if you flip the charges, so let's say you have now protons have a negative charge and electrons have a positive charge, none of the physics changes when you're doing your equations. Lawrence Krauss basically started off with that explanation, and then he compared it to a chessboard. And he said that, if you're using the white chess pieces or you're using the black chess pieces, it doesn't matter if you switch the colors on those. So if you change the white to black and if you change the black to white, the game's going to be still played the same way. And then, of course, the board has black and white checker squares on there. And if you switch those, all of them, he's saying that the rules won't change either. And he tried to explain that with gauge symmetry, you can actually change one of those black squares to a white square. So imagine your chessboard. You have a bunch of black, white squares in some order, and they go, back to back, black to white, black to white. He says if you switch one of those colors, so let's say you had a black, white, and then you had white, white. Mm-hmm. He's saying you can do that as long as you have the instruction manual on how you can move that around that piece. So he's saying that none of the rules change as long as you have an instruction manual. And that's what he was saying is gauge symmetry. And I thought that was probably as good as you can get with a layman explanation. Eric Weinstein doesn't agree. I thought that was actually more understandable. It doesn't really give you much understanding of what actually is happening. Yeah. But I thought it was a better layer of information, I thought, than Eric Weinstein's.
Right.
I think you have to have certain levels of speaking to someone. Yeah. There's actually this YouTube series that says explain a concept in 5 different levels or something. You've probably seen it before.
Yeah, there's a scientist or somebody who's in the field, a very specialized field, and they explain it to you.
Yeah. And I think Eric Weinstein is making the mistake of he's trying to go to the highest layer with someone who doesn't have any of the tools to be able to get there. So really, and it's actually even something Feynman did before when he talked about magnetism. He kind of railed on this guy because the guy was like, how do magnets work? And he's like, that's kind of a stupid question because I can go so many layers with that. It's all on what what's your base level of knowledge. And I think that's how you kind of have to approach these things. You need to know what someone's layer of knowledge is, and you can explain to them just some very simple picture, and they'll be satisfied with it. You have to know what picture they'll be satisfied with you explaining. Yeah.
It's kind of like, where do I start, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are your building blocks? What's your foundation of knowledge, right?
Right. So if you're trying to, say like, how do you build a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? If no one has any idea of what a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is, then you can say,
it's peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you can just say, well, I don't know. I can't even think of a good analogy
peanuts
right
are
now,
this thing, right? You have to kind of start with the concept.
Yeah, you got to start off with the basics. Like some people might think, oh, you just get the sandwich, you get the peanut butter, you get the jelly, and you make it. And if you're a fucking alien, you're like, what the hell is he talking about? I have no idea what any of these things mean. What's a knife? Yeah. You have to go at the lowest levels, right?
Like if you were to go to the store and be like, you're like, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Person would, there's jam. There's fucking,
right.
There's
the alien would be completely confused. What do I get? There's strawberry, there's fucking grape, what do I get? What is this?
But that's what I'm saying. And the analogy here is that if somebody goes on Wikipedia, right, and they Google all this shit to try to figure it out, like they're gonna run into shit like that where it's like, what the fuck is, there's jam, there's spread, there's like so many other things that this seeps into. There's just so much going on in that thing.
And I think a lot of times this is why physicists get in trouble when they're explaining things to laymen, because they're thinking the basic concepts are basic, which they're not. One of the things I noticed with Eric Weinstein, he's talking about derivatives and treating it as a basic concept. To a physicist, it's a basic concept. Yeah. But it's like, dude, a derivative will blow your mind alone in the podcast. And he's using that as like the basic part of his explanation. It's like, man, a derivative is already wrought with so much deep understanding, and you can go so deep into that. That's calculus. It's like, why is he treating that as the basic part of his speech?
Yeah.
So it just shows like you can't explain these things to laymen like that because they literally do not have the tools. One little phrase you're saying, it's like a whole field of research. A whole area of study. And he's
Like-
just glossing over it like it's a
Yeah.
basic thing.
Yeah, to quote Shrek, calculus is like an onion, right? Isn't that what he said?
I think that's what he said, something like that.
Yeah. Like an onion. So, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, but I don't want to shit on Weinstein. Like,
Yeah, I think
don't
he's a
want
really
this to be
smart guy.
he's obviously really, really smart, and I do appreciate that he tried not to dumb it down for people, because he obviously believes that people are smarter than he. Well, he thinks people are more capable than they are.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's a fatal mistake. No, I'm just joking.
Well, I mean,
I think he
well, he went on to complain about politics, which I'm like, I mean,
did he?
yeah, he did.
Okay, I forget.
He's like, "What did we do, Joe? He was so like hopeless at the end of it."
Yeah.
He didn't. Did you guys catch that? Well, he was like, "We didn't even get to talk about politics." He's like, "Is this going to get better, Joe?" Like, he wanted Joe to like hug him and like tell him it's going to be all right.
Right.
Like, okay, man. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Overall, I did appreciate his like appearance. I thought it was like he was really informative.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I get the point of what bothered you about the podcast, but as a graduate physicist, I really enjoyed the podcast. You know, personally.
Oh
'cause
yeah.
There's like
Totally.
there's a lot of unique ways about thinking about things that we use pretty frequently, like the concept of a spinner, like that little dance thing. I never.
That was
seen.
probably
Oh,
one of
really?
the nicer things I got
Right.
from it.
Oh shit. I guess I already knew.
Well, I did too, but I thought his explanation on that was kind of not good still. I thought it was good for a graduate physicist,
Well,
for someone who knew physics.
That's what I'm saying. Is like from my perspective, it was really nice, right?
Yeah.
But I totally agree that like from a layperson's perspective, it's totally ineffective at like describing any of these concepts.
Yeah. The spinner thing was actually understandable to me, though.
Yeah.
I thought it
But
was.
that's because I know physics.
Yeah, I thought it was
I know-
cool that
Yeah.
somebody finally talked about it, because in my undergrad, like me and my buddy who's now at Penn State, like we were obsessed
Mhm.
with the spinner thing, because
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is like a dance move, because like you could literally. he was like, yeah, look, watch. I was like, can you do it? And he was like, I think I got it. So he was like really trying. He's like, yeah, watch this, and he's like, oh, I was like, whoa, and then like,
Damn, first try, one.
then we went like. Funny thing is, we went out, like we would go out on weekends and shit.
Yeah, and do that move.
So in the club,
You
we would just
fucking
bust
nerd.
out this movie. Like, everybody would be like, whoa, shit. Of course, the inside, like if you
goddamn
were a
nerd.
physicist, you would fucking know.
Yeah.
But it was literally like an inside joke between like.
I think if you were a physicist, you still wouldn't know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's so niche. Even then, as a physicist, like you would have. He was a mathematician. He was like math physics, so that's why he knew about spinners
Right.
and shit. I wouldn't
Like
have known.
Weinstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't have known about spinners.
Right.
Like the only spinners I know are from like Mike Jones and shit, where he's talking about we buy spinners. You know what I mean? The rappers talking about
Right.
spinners. Those are the spinners I know. So
Well, I didn't even realize we called them spinners. I didn't even think of it as like a mathematical object like that. I just thought, particles have spin. But then I was like, oh, yeah, he's kind of right. Like a spinner can be like an abstract object that is just an object that describes something with spin.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of a cool thing. That gave me some new thoughts and new enlightenment. But yeah, I liked it. I liked that part. Yeah.
yeah, it was cool.
It was just an example of like one of the few things that I took away, like actually
Yeah.
like a deeper understanding of
Yeah.
Yeah.
what we deal with.
Joe Rogan actually had a few physicists on his podcast. I took all who he had. Yeah, he had 4 that I found so far. He had Sean Carroll.
Recently.
I don't know if you remember that guy. He was the one that talked about quantum mechanics.
Oh,
I
yeah.
fucking hated his explanation because he did the same old. Is that the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
dying.
I think it's over. This one might last, but I think Sean Carroll did the same old. It can be in a 0 and a 1 state at the same time. And this is kind of the thing that I liked with Eric Weinstein addressing actually in Joe Rogan's podcast. He said that he was talking about how in quantum mechanics, people ask nonsensical questions in quantum mechanics. It's almost like you need to be asking the proper questions to get a decent answer. And I thought that was really a good point. I feel like people try to ask too many things in quantum mechanics that don't make sense.
Yeah, but I mean, that was actually one of the points that I felt like I agreed with less, actually.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh,
I mean,
that's good.
well, I mean, so on one level, I think you might be totally right, but it's just like maybe the quantum realm is just like so beyond our comprehension that like asking even basic questions doesn't make sense. But like to me, like asking where is a particle is the same as like if we were to analogize it to classical mechanics, like where is the ball when you throw the ball, right? Why am I
Right.
not allowed to ask the question where is the particle? And that's going to be a probabilistic answer.
Well, I think his point is that it doesn't really make sense in the same way, because it's saying where is the particle. Yeah, you're saying it's in a probabilistic system, but the thing is that probabilistic system is kind of almost like looking behind the curtain in some ways. So you can't necessarily say it's I can't let's think of a good way to say this. You can ask where the particle is though once you've measured it. Giving the probability is not really. I have to think about this. I can't really give a good explanation on this because it is so hard. I don't think anybody really has a good understanding of quantum mechanics. It's just
Right.
when people talk about quantum mechanics, what they're describing is the mathematics.
Right.
They're just describing the
Well-
mathematics, and it doesn't translate linguistically.
So
Right, that was Eric's point, right? Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I kind of have a problem with this because my whole senior year, I did a senior essay on basically quantum mechanics and like the postulate that I don't remember the specific name of the postulate, but you know the postulate in quantum mechanics basically where you measure the system and you get like an energy eigenvalues. You immediately go from like a continuous system to a discontinuous
Let's
system.
get a little bit.
Okay, my bad. I'm talking
don't
to you
get too
guys.
comfy. Don't
I'm
get too
talking to you
comfy,
guys.
Juan. We still
Right.
need laymen in this
Right.
audience.
I'm talking to you guys. So the idea is that okay, so to lay the groundwork here.
Think of your audience as Karina.
Okay, so to lay the groundwork here in quantum mechanics, right? What we're really talking about is energy, the physics of things at low, really, really low energy scales.
Yeah.
To the of the fact where something huge like us and so thermally in such a thermally excited state, when we probe, by thermally excited I mean like really hot. So we have a lot of energy.
I'm giving
We're really
Mom a
hot.
look
We're
right now.
radiating a lot of heat, right? And it's sort of the analogy that I like to draw is say you want to measure the velocity of you want to measure how fast a fly is going.
Yeah.
So to do that, use a bowling ball.
Oh, you're talking about when you're measuring the state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and that's that's the analogy I like to use. In a sense, you lose information about the state because you literally throw the system into your fly. You just destroyed your fly. Like,
Right.
You could tell me, oh, I know the momentum. I mean, I know the velocity at that instant, but I don't know what happens after. that.
For the layman out there, Juan is kind of describing why when people say if a particle's in superposition, when it gets measured, the state gets collapsed. This has to do with the whole double slit experiment and why when you see a particle, it collapses into a particular configuration. And actually, Neil deGrasse Tyson talked about this on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he gave a similar explanation to you,
Yeah.
and it was a nice explanation because he
Yeah.
cleared up that whole hocus pocus that's associated with it, which is what happens all the time with quantum mechanics.
Oh yeah,
And I think it's attributed to these shitty explanations
yeah. Well,
because people are trying to speak too much in a way that does not really satisfy the actual picture.
right.
I've had so many issues with this when I was taking the class because the way I was interpreting things are not correct with how
Right.
people are saying them.
right.
So that's why I hate when people talk about quantum mechanics because they're always trying to ascribe more to the mathematics than actually is there. And it makes a very confusing picture,
Right.
especially if you hear people talk about this before you do the mathematics. So I've internalized some things already because, when I was first starting out in physics, I didn't even know any math. And I used to always watch quantum mechanics videos, and I'd see all these things that people would say.
You're like, whoa.
And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this shit is fucking awesome. But then I'm like, okay, now I see it's like shitty ways people are explaining this. They're interpreting too much from the image, and they're trying to describe the mathematics, which is not satisfactory for what's actually happening. Or maybe it is happening, but it's not satisfactory. It will give you a misleading picture many times.
the most
Spitting
damning.
all of this, Mike.
The most damning. Okay, like kind of going back to what I was saying. Like I wrote this whole essay, right, talking about this specific thing, or because my issue was that, like, what the fuck. I was kind of addressing the question where Feynman said nobody understands quantum mechanics.
Right.
Like, there's no fucking way.
They don't.
No, but I was like, there's no fucking way. And the thing is, there are people that understand quantum mechanics.
No, there aren't.
There are.
I'm not convinced.
And
there are people who understand the mathematics of quantum mechanics.
No, here's
they
the
don't
thing, though.
understand anything about quantum mechanics.
No, but you understand quantum mechanics. Like,
No, I
the
don't.
realistic picture.
I do not.
No. In a sense where it affects your reality, you do understand. Because you can say, for instance, I know that I'm about to get real fucking like
ravaged.
Roasted.
No. My problem is we because Joe wants a physical answer. He's not happy with the response of
Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta be specific. we have a Joe here.
Yeah, the Joe's not happy with the fucking responses, man. No.
Damn it.
No, I don't think people like him aren't happy walking away, talking to a physicist and saying like, well, what the fuck is superposition? And it's like, well,
yeah, no one has good explanation for this.
No one does, but the thing is,
because they don't understand it.
The real, you have to say, honestly, like the real physics of it is like everything right now. Like, I think you have to kind of give them a realistic picture, because this is kind of the thing that people leave out. When you make a measurement on the system, and what I mean by that is when you interact with the quantum system,
yeah,
you knock it into a stable state, I guess you could say, right? So what I mean by stable is you put it into an energy level where it's like how do I say this? Help me out here, guys. I'm trying to find the right language.
I don't know, but the thing is, what you're describing is mathematics still,
right?
You're not explaining anything of understandability. We've never seen a particle in superposition.
What we call that? We have.
No, we have not.
There's experiments.
No,
I did this in my essay. I'm telling you, dog.
There is no experiment there's no experiment where we've ever seen a particle in superposition. You can put it in superposition, but you cannot see it in superposition because that means it's collapsed.
That means you interact.
You cannot measure something in superposision. So this is the thing. You're just describing the mathematics we built behind it.
Yeah.
You're not actually.
But then you understand quantum mechanics. You understand quantum mechanics.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I don't understand anything at a deeper level of what quantum mechanics actually is.
That's literally it.
I don't know, but
I don't know if I could say that.
But so why? So then the question you could go a level deeper as to why things are in superposition in the first place, right?
Well,
that's where the physical meaning would lie, right? We have mathematics, like quantum mechanics is like an empirical study, right?
Yeah.
It's based upon experiment, but we don't really know the motivations behind the experiments, right?
We cannot see behind the veil.
Exactly.
Well,
if we cannot see behind the veil, we don't really understand it.
Right.
That's the thing. We're always describing it with math, in terms of math. In Newtonian mechanics, classical mechanics, for the layman, this is like the stuff that we normally deal with, like projectile motion, throw a ball. You count it for a certain number of time, and then you can see where it lands or something,
Well, I mean,
basic physics, we have an understanding and intuition for that.
Not really.
Sure we do.
We
live in that world.
We do
sure, but talk to somebody about like torque and
but I mean,
Coriolis forces
but
and
you're
shit.
going higher level, and actually, you can still understand that stuff if you understand it.
Well, that's kind of redundant.
Like quantum mechanics, you can go all day, and you're not going to really give anybody a final answer that's satisfactory on why these things are happening. People have so many interpretations of quantum mechanics. there's the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. There's what's the other one? Copenhagen or something?
That's the traditional one.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
I
one
mean,
I'm talking
that's
about.
already, that's what I'm saying. That's the philosophical debate that we have with quantum mechanics.
No,
No
I
one
know.
really
I'm
knows.
telling you, I wrote a whole fucking essay about this, dude. I know what I'm
Well,
talking
then I don't
about.
understand how you could be convinced that we understand
yeah,
quantum
exactly.
mechanics.
It's like
If you wrote a whole
because-
essay, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the thing is, it's I guess because like I walked away from writing that essay being happy with what I
Yeah.
learned
right.
because I didn't know that.
Yeah, but you still don't know shit.
Well, 'cause you guys want to
know
know
more shit
why
than
is it in superposition? Well, I can
Yeah.
tell you. I don't know if you'd be happy with this answer, but I could tell you. Well, when the system reaches a very low energy state, it
No.
kind of it goes into because you to get something.
You're
in
just
superposition,
describing
you
to
have
me what's happened, like what it's doing.
Yeah.
You're not telling me anything of a deeper level why
you-
superpositions exist.
telling you why superposition.
Yeah, why? How do you even know that the superposition's happening?
Well, because
Without measuring it.
No, because I know. Because when you measure it, you get an assortment of energy eigenvalues or
Sure,
energies,
but
right?
that's
Then you know,
all
okay,
the
I'm in
math,
different
man.
states every time I go in.
This is still a mathematical explanation.
No, but that's how. Well, for one, that's how you know you're in superposition. But number two, I would say why superposition, right? So I could tell you, well, if you reach at such a, say, if you remove all of the ambient energy in a system, your object will go into superposition of whatever energy.
how do you know this?
Huh?
How do you know?
Because that's what we do. That's what we do when we put something in superposition. That's what we do.
You're not.
right?
You're not convincing me of anything that's showing
Like, if
me
you
that
were
you
to
know
isolate
this
in a
is in
toy box.
superposition.
In a toy box, if you were to do that, that's how you would do it. But
But how can you prove to me that it's in superposition? Aside
Because-
from your mathematics.
Well, I'm telling you, this is. I could only describe what I'm seeing.
So when I so then how can I see it in superposition?
You can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you'd
if I
have to-
can't,
the
you
only way
can't
you could
really, you cannot even really tell me that it's in a superposition.
Yes, I can. If I tell you,
You
how else
cannot.
would I built this construct of a superposition to describe the physics. Like I could tell you, well, I
yeah,
have this.
you build the concept of it,
Yeah.
but that's all mathematics once again. So you're
Sure,
doing is
but-
describing the mathematics to
But the
me, which
math-
I already know.
The math at some point is reality. At some point, I mean, who's
I
to
guess,
say?
yes.
Who's to say? My senior paper advisor guy was like, "Yeah, we don't really know what's going on," and I
Yeah.
totally agree. I understand. Like, we can't really say if that's actually happening, if the linear combination of states is actually the reality of things, but we can say that it works.
Yeah, that's fine. You can say it works, but that doesn't mean that's what's
no,
actually
I know
happening.
he agrees with you guys.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I mean, that is what we see. That is what we measure. That is what reality
Right,
is.
right.
It
Well,
works
no-
if you're trying to get something done.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
so I think we're kind of getting bogged down in,
Okay,
in some,
yeah. Sorry,
in
sorry.
some foxhole or whatever. But anyways,
yeah.
I just
Keep it
want to
layman friendly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I lost my train of thought, but it's
Superposition's kind of stupid. No, just kidding.
right. So I would agree with you that we can measure these things, right? There are experiments to verify these mathematical tools that we've learned in quantum mechanics, right? So these are verifiable facts, right? We can test them and prove them. But
And quantum, to note, is the most successful theory that we have to date. Pretty
Right.
much.
tested
Yeah.
rigorously.
right,
Yeah.
right. So it's correct, and I agree with you there. It's just it's
No
like
one's happy with.
right, the motivations behind why it's correct. I mean, it's just it completely baffles the mind every time I learn something new in quantum mechanics.
Mm.
Right, and the fact that there's all these different interpretations of the math, as Terrence was getting at, is just the sign to me that we clearly don't have the full picture yet. So I think the jury's still out. I think it's not very useful to argue about the philosophy of quantum mechanics just yet, because we clearly don't even have close to like a complete understanding of this field. Right.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm open to like toying with these notions of the many world interpretations. I mean, I think it's very captures the imagination, but in terms of its usefulness, like really, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I think we need more data.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Sean Carroll was actually trying to promote that one.
Right.
What,
He
many
was
worlds?
sounding very confident on that one too. A little too confident for me.
I don't like the many worlds.
Yeah, I don't like when people are too confident about a philosophy of physics when they don't know shit about, there's no definitive smoking gun to prove it. And I think Sean Carroll was I don't want to maybe put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure that he was a many world supporter because it seemed like he was kind of pushing that interpretation.
Don't say anything too bad about him. I'm friends with him. I took an Instagram picture with him.
Did you really?
Yeah, I have a picture with him.
Well, shit.
I was like, hey, Sean, right?
What school is he at?
I think
He's at Caltech.
he's at Caltech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's a hot shot.
Yeah.
Well, the guy he's astrophysics, right?
Yeah. Well, he does a lot with entropy and stuff like that. He's all about like, the end
What
of
a
the universe.
concept.
Oh.
Entropy.
Right.
Entropy, that's fucking a whole nother land right there. I could probably just sit on that one for weeks trying to figure out what the fuck entropy is. I still don't get it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
Because
What do you mean?
it's literally, the definition is a measure of disorder.
Yeah.
That just sounds like the most,
I mean,
like,
No,
what
but
the
you know
hell
what that
kind
means
of definition.
mathematically.
Yes, but I don't care about math.
No, I know, but the
I
math
try to forget about math as much as I can when I'm trying to understand shit for real.
no,
well, I
but-
mean, like clearly I enjoy it because I got it fucking engraved on my, on my iPad.
Oh yeah.
Right, but I mean, like, I could give you like a brief explanation, but I don't know how useful that is. But
Give it to him, Joe.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's see, Joe. Maybe for the layman too.
yeah. I mean, it's just the entropy, right? Calculating it as the measure of disorder, right? It's all it is counting, right? It's saying that there's more ways to be disorganized than organized. That's all entropy is, right? So that's where the jargon comes in, is to try to unpack that, right? If I have a microstate, right? So if I have a particular arrangement of particles or balls in a room or whatever,
Now there's 6.
right? So there's like, if I organize them
three
all
balls, motherfucker.
neatly and compactly, right? Say I put them all in a corner and put all our balls in a corner in the room.
All right.
Right. There's only there's only one way. There's only one way you can have that microstate, right?
Yeah.
But there's many more ways that those balls could just be randomly strewn throughout the room, right? There's many more ways of counting those disordered states, right? So all entropy is saying is that nature likes to tend towards disordered states because it's more probable, right? There's just it's just saying that the motion of these particles is random, right? And so they'll tend to have a normal distribution. About all
That's a
those
good explanation. I feel like I still gotta internalize it better. Like, and no matter how many times I hear or read a definition of it, it just never quite feels like it's settled, you know? You know when you solve a problem and it really just feels settled? I don't get that with entropy. I don't feel like that satisfaction, like, yeah, I finally get it.
You know what I would recommend watching? There was like a BBC, the news station, that talked about like physics. They had a physics series, and it was Brian Cox, the physicist.
Yeah.
Actual physicist. He was just like doing a series in physics, and he actually had a good one on entropy.
Okay.
I would recommend it. It was like maybe 40 minutes long, but he actually does a really good job of explaining things.
Okay.
It kind of goes along with, I mean, really, I don't know. I guess I didn't really put a lot of thought into it because it seemed pretty straightforward, but he kind of gives a really good intuitive, like, even layman response if you want to take away a deeper understanding aside from the math, because I think Joe's appreciation is like both levels. I think you're coming at it both levels, like, oh shit, I get this at a higher level, and now the math, whatever, and then of course like you're at the ground level, I guess. So I think because you might, because
Well, I
you
read
did
a
a whole
whole-
semester in math.
I read a whole blog on entropy and I still don't feel satisfied.
No, I hate reading shit on the physics. I hate reading.
It was
physics on
actually
the
probably
internet.
one of the better things I read on
Oh,
it, though.
really?
Yeah.
I hate reading physics on the internet, man. I can't do it.
Well, yeah, but some people do it well. You got to really search for them, though. I search all the time for shit that's better intuitively explained. There's few and far in between, but the places I have found are really good. Like for instance, like for YouTube, I always go to 3 Blue 1 Brown. That guy is like top for anything that you want to intuitively understand. It's a mathematician's YouTube page. Khan Academy was good. There's another website called Better Explained. That one's great for intuitive understanding of things.
You know who I used to like?
Who?
Veritasium, I think it was.
No, I used to hate
Potassium.
Veritasium?
We're definitely way opposite on that one then.
Veritas is like truth, right?
Yeah, but I was like, this
I was going
motherfucker,
Latin,
I don't know what he's
whatever.
talking about.
Could have been Veritasium, but I would have been a fucking asshole. It's like Latin, you know what I mean?
And it's actually Veritasium.
Whatever, dude.
I took Latin.
I'm fucking Latin, dude. I can get away with that shit, man. Nah, but yeah, like I actually enjoyed his channel. His channel was pretty good. Well, yeah, I think he went things.
To each his own.
You didn't like him?
No,
Really?
I don't like his explanations. I think they're too
Wow.
surface level.
I liked his experiments
Okay.
too. They were pretty good.
Mm.
Yeah. He was doing God's work, really.
Yeah.
He was getting street people to learn physics and shit.
I also think he's too good looking to be a physicist.
Yeah, he kind of is. You know what would suck for him? Like if he's no physicist would take him seriously because you're like, you shouldn't even be doing physics,
Right.
man. You should be modeling.
I'm sure that
something.
happened to him.
Dude, actually,
That
in my
happens to
undergrad-
people all the time.
No, in my undergrad, there was like this really, really, like, well, I wasn't really attracted to her, but there was this cute girl in our class,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, yeah, I'm a model, blah, blah, blah. Like, she was on that level of like attractiveness.
Right.
I guess objectively,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd really, she wasn't my type. But the thing is, like, she was a pretty girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that must suck. Like, if people are always like, oh, wow, you do physics?
Right. That's cute.
Yeah, and it's like I kind of wanted to ask her like, what does it mean to do physics as an attractive girl? But I didn't want to. I didn't never ask her that because I thought, oh, I would have come off as like I'm hitting on her and like a desperate weirdo and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, like that's a pickup line, right? Like,
It depends on how serious you are about
yeah, I
it.
get the concern, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, I think you
You
could.
don't
I
think
think you
so?
could phrase it in a way where it
Yeah.
doesn't come off.
I mean, if you're
creepily.
curious, like I don't know.
I know,
Yeah,
but
just ask.
how the fuck could you ask that?
Well, you could just get her one-on-one. Usually, I mean, if it's one-on-one,
Hey, let's get a
it's probably-
coffee and talk about.
No, but like you just get her one day
How
and be like,
attractive you are.
you could even phrase it like, I'm just curious. I've been reading all this stuff about how women get marginalized in physics and all this, and I just wanted from your interpretation, like, how do you feel being an attractive woman in physics? I think you could phrase it that way, and then she would probably answer you truthfully.
Like, you fucking weirdo. Why are you asking?
I have a
Marginalize
boyfriend.
me.
Damn it!
Yeah.
The classic line.
Literally. Like, she would literally tell people that, like,
Right.
other physics nerds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
That's the
boyfriend.
quick shutdown.
I'm just like, I'm not even going to talk to her. Like, it's just going to be too fucking. I'm just going to be like, I'm not even hitting her. You're not even my type. Like, I'm just, like, genuinely curious. Like, what the fuck? But, yeah, I liked him anyway. He was good. So, yeah. Shit, I feel like I had a laundry list of topics, too.
Right.
Did
We
you
got,
guys-
we got derailed off of Eric
Yeah.
Weinstein. You wanted to talk about that? I
So,
mean,
did you guys want to wrap that up a little bit, or just keep
yeah, I
talking
mean,
about
so I think I already know your guys' answers, but how do you guys feel about if Eric's philosophy is to basically just present the whole package as complete as it is, even though it's going to confuse even the person you're sitting right across from,
Yeah.
versus some layman explanation that doesn't capture all the details, which do you think is like a better method of presenting the information to like the public, I guess you would say?
Well, you mind if I go first one? So I think I can see his reasoning, and it makes more sense to me on camera because he's reaching a wider audience. He can speak to people in a way that's more rigorous because if you have the luxury of time, you can look up what he's saying and you can kind of absorb it at your leisure with a little bit more, you're not rushed to understand it.
Yeah.
But then the other side, the flip side basically is if he's trying to communicate specifically to Joe Rogan or his audience that's directly in front of him, then I think it's a poor thing, a poor job.
Yeah.
Because, you you want to give people something to hold on to at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
When you're explaining something. Like, even if it's something very basic to you, they're not going to be able to geek out with you on the most, leading edge shit because they don't have the utilities to. So you can geek out on things that you used to find really cool, or maybe something that you just discovered that's basic, but will blow their minds. That's what I usually do. Like, if I want to like kind of geek out with somebody on something that's something that I already know a lot, I'll try to dig real deep into something and then maybe find something weird that I never even realized when I was at their level that I can reveal to them.
Yeah.
So there's many ways you can do this. It's just you want to give somebody something to hold on to. That means you need to talk on their level.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I can literally say the same thing as you. I mean, I think you and I are both the same philosophy on teaching. Yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? Really?
Yeah. What about you, Joe?
Right. Yeah. I mean, personally, I don't agree with Eric's philosophy. I think that's what you're saying, right? I mean, I think it's better to, tailor your presentation to whoever you're talking to, right? I guess I'm more like Richard Feynman in the sense that the simplest explanation that is accurate is the best one.
Right.
Right. So,
and simple is relative.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, so I appreciate what Eric's doing. So I think it's good to have diversity of opinion, right? If some people dig that stuff, then they'll be attracted to him. But personally, if I were to be in his shoes, I would not have talked about it in that way.
I agree. So, even though it's on camera, I still think I would have taken the more simplified approach. Honestly, I preferred Lawrence Krauss's approach more, even though Eric Weinstein didn't prefer it. I think his was better to me.
His was a math.
His was not math at all.
No. I'm saying Eric's.
Oh, yeah. And Lawrence Krauss was just a super simple analogy.
Well, he's a physicist. And he wants to tie it to reality.
Yeah, but it didn't capture anything about gauge symmetry, really.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But it was simple enough to where someone would have taken something from that and gotten some new thing to hold on to, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he gave them the principle.
Yeah, he gave them a cool principle that they probably don't know what the hell it really has to tie into the bigger picture, but it was something they could hold on to. Like, I could easily remember his analogy just because it was so simple.
Yeah.
But even like looking back on it, and I'm trying to figure out how that even fits into it. So a layman's definitely not going to be able to remember how it fits into it, but they'll be like, oh, that's cool. You can change the squares on a chessboard, and then you need the rule book, and that will determine, that will show you what symmetries are possible. I don't know.
You can reverse things, and the things will stay the same.
Yeah. So something simple to hold on to that's digestible, and it will help you maybe in life, or maybe not. It's just something cool to know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom goes the dynamite.
But so what made you want to call Red Alert on this podcast anyways?
Well, because I was, like I said, I was upset with like the way physics is communicated.
Right.
I think in general, like overall, I'm very upset. Like mostly because it's it's usually high level people that are at the cutting edge.
Yeah,
like theoreticians usually, or theoretical physicists.
I feel like it's even worse when you are a physicist, like because like these high level guys, when they know that they're speaking to other physicists, like undergraduates or graduates, then they have no fucking holding back, and then anything that they say, they're just like, "Are you stupid?" Like it's almost worse because now they know they don't have to have a filter. And they can just talk all this crazy shit. You're just like, "What the fuck?"
Talk down to you.
Yeah, you don't know this already?
Yeah, how could you not know?
You didn't learn calculus in middle school? Are you retarded or
you have a learning deficiency?
Yeah.
No, I'm just American.
Yeah.
Just literally just American. That's my deficit. Literally,
who did you sleep with to get here? I don't understand.
There should be a deficit, I think. Like just being like, yeah, I'm American.
Oh, that should be in the DSM. For physicists, that's a learning disability. American.
Yeah, but I learned I'm a product of the American public school system. So, I don't know physics very well.
I didn't even know what physics was until college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took.
I had no
physics in
idea you
high
could study
school.
the universe as a career. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I know, right?
I would have been all on that shit when I was younger.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, but I was like, I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
Good at math.
I
Can't do it.
actually found my appreciation for math in high school when I took up programming on the TI-83.
Oh, okay.
Programming.
Yeah, because the
That-
TI-83,
That
dude,
gets a lot of
it was so intuitive that I literally did not even have to read a book to learn how to program on that thing. I just
Fuck,
fucked around on it so much
Seriously?
that I learned to program on it. It was that intuitive
Damn.
because basically all the functions were already preset.
Oh, right,
So all
right.
you had to do is just push the function, and then you would just, add like numbers or something after it, and then you saw, oh, DISP display. That means it actually outputs a phrase or something.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, that makes sense. Now let's see what else I can do. And then I was like, I'll write this like a sentence, an if statement, like if this, then this. I was just fucking around, and then it's like, oh, that actually worked. So like it was just so intuitive. It was just like, oh shit, I see how powerful this is, and then it made me actually want to learn more math.
Interesting. I hope you weren't like on the TI like if boobs if 8 at 5, then what's
Then
the next
erection.
one?
8 equals D squiggle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hope that wasn't your idea of programming.
Nah.
What was the most like cool thing you made?
Oh, dude, I made so much cool shit. So I made one of them. One big one I made was the periodic table in chemistry. So I made a periodic table that you can scroll on, and you can actually select the element, and you can combine all the elements and find the molar mass for the ones that you selected.
fucking way.
It was so fucking nice. But
Damn.
that was probably one. That one probably took me like 3 or 4 weeks to make.
You could have sold that to TI.
I did. I sold it to the students. I stole it to everybody like for like $1.
Huh.
And that's what I was like, oh, I could actually make money on this. And then the next one I made was an easy like quadratic formula solver.
Yeah.
That was pretty straightforward. Then I started getting into the games, and I made a boxing game and a ninja game.
Boxing game? What the fuck?
Yeah, so I made a boxing game where you could box a guy on the screen, and it was kind of shitty though because you had to
How many
kind of know
bits
how
is
to play.
that, literally?
Huh?
How many bits is that?
I don't even know.
Like 8
Well, the
bits?
thing is, you could draw on the game,
What?
so you could store pictures on. You could draw on the calculator.
Yeah.
So you could store pictures, and then you could like clear the screen, and you could give it the illusion of like animation.
No.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice, but it was not the most optimized. It was because it was written in BASIC, so you would have had to write something in assembly
I
to
don't know
make it
what that
any
means,
better.
but okay.
So BASIC's like the kind of low level language. I wrote everything in BASIC. It's like you can almost see it as like English. It's like standard kind of programming, like scripting language.
It
The
uses
next-
math logic or something?
Hmm?
Because you're telling me it uses if and
Yeah, it uses if then statements and things like that. But don't think of it as like Python or C++ because those are still more powerful.
yeah.
But it was understandable. Like it reads like English kind of. The lower level one though, assembly, is like real shit. You can write real shit with that one, but it was way harder to understand. Like if you tried to look at it, you wouldn't understand what the fuck it is.
Where'd you find?
Yeah.
And I never got to learn that one though because it was too advanced for me. But I was like a master at BASIC at that point. TI BASIC.
Damn.
Yeah. So I made some cool shit with them. I sold a couple of them. Sold a couple programs, made a little money.
Pretty sure Texas Instruments doesn't want to hear that.
Right now I'm gonna get sued for my $10 I made off of that.
Well, they'll we'll charge you interest.
Huh?
And we'll buy the license off of you.
Right.
Because that's actually a great idea, periodic table. I think that they might
man.
already have them inside of newer TIs.
Yeah. I also made a unit circle. A unit circle that you could find out
Holy
which
shit.
which
Plug in the radians.
If you
Good sign
literally
of blessing.
went to TI and were like, "Hey guys, I got this," it would be like, holy shit, we got to get this kid on a scholarship. Send him to fucking MIT, guys.
Right.
You wouldn't have been here. Like,
Right.
literally, you would.
Dude, I probably could have pulled something. And back then, though, I didn't even realize that was like something cool to do. I was just like, this is just fun.
Oh, you would have
Fuck
been pipelined into some nerdy ass school, I think.
And you know what was funny?
What?
I failed algebra 3 times. I failed geometry twice.
No, they would have put you on. They would have put you on some shit, and would have been like, "We'll get this kid a private tutor. You know, he's just
Right.
He's too fucking good."
They'd at least give me something, probably. I could have written an essay on that, but I literally never even talked about that in anything like on my resume or anything. Because I didn't think it was like anything. I was just like,
Yeah,
whatever.
dude, I literally just would write boobs and shit. Damn, cool shit, man.
yeah.
Joe, what about you? You're in any calculator stuff? I like how we're talking about calculator shit.
Yeah.
No, I had the 83 or 84 also, but I never got into the coding stuff.
Okay.
I
Everybody had one, though.
yeah, I used it a lot. I mean, because I took stats, calc in high school, so that I used it like a ton. Yeah, nothing like that. I used it for like really. I used my math skills for like really nerdy shit. Like, yeah, I think I told you guys this story before, but I was into like Diablo 3 for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my dad played video
Diablo
games.
3 or Diablo 2?
I mean, I played Diablo 2 when I was like a kid, and then
Yeah.
when I was in high school or whatever, Diablo 3 was out, and then
Really?
yeah.
Shit, you're young as fuck. Damn, I feel old now.
Yeah, but so my dad played the game or whatever, so I was just like, I hopped on that, and so I got like, at one point I was like top 50 in the world for DPS.
Shit.
And what I would do is I'd use my I'd use equations I learned in stats to optimize loot routes or whatever. I would like calculate what's the probability of like a loot drop given given like I do this run and then I kill this boss or whatever, and then
So it's like spreadsheets?
no, I calculated it on paper,
Okay.
right? And then I'd see like, oh, okay,
Was it difficult to calculate?
no, not the
Okay.
I mean, I just had to do it a lot, right?
Okay,
And then
yeah.
get enough data so that I could say like, okay, you know, this is the most optimized route for you know what I have.
Oh, so you did it by hand, by fucking trial and error.
Right.
Not even looking at the source code.
No.
Oh God. That sounds horrible.
Right. And then I would use spreadsheets. I made like a code to like figure, because in that game for some reason damage is not like clearly, like it doesn't tell you how much damage you'll get based upon your equipment or whatever. It just tells you your stats. Right. So
Yeah.
So I wrote like a code that would, you know, I would put in values for the stats of the items, and then it would tell me the damage.
Oh, so you
Right.
could actually get hard numbers on it.
Right, exactly. So
Okay.
then that would
That's
let
a
me
good
figure
idea.
out what to get off the marketplace or whatever to get higher on the ladder.
Right.
Or whatever.
Right.
Nice.
But yeah,
That's
then
pretty
I stopped
cool.
playing. And my dad still plays it actually. He got back into it.
Does he
Diablo.
use all your spreadsheets?
No, he didn't even know I did all that.
Oh. It's like, why is my son so fucking good at this game?
That's funny, man.
But so yeah, now that he's playing, it's like all that work was like garbage. This is like they completely changed the game, right? So it's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so
I
like
bet
he
you
still
hate
has
it.
all my shit, right? But
Yeah.
now it's like garbage.
Yeah.
No,
It doesn't have any of the same.
Right. Yeah, I mean I haven't played the game in
Values.
like 4 or 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So Diablo Mobile then. That's a meme.
catastrophe.
Don't you guys hate that? Like, I really do hate gamers as an identity now.
Oh yeah.
Like, now that
It's
I'm older,
just-
like I like playing video games. I built a PC that plays games. I kind of want
Yeah.
to be the gaming, but it's just finding the time. But the concept of like gamers literally whine about like everything.
yeah.
Like, and then what I hated the most, I don't know if you guys, we were born in an era of video games being huge, right?
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
we grew up N64.
Yeah.
Fucking game.
They just got bigger and bigger.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in that that skyrocketing
Yeah.
sort of
that trajectory.
popularity.
It
Yeah,
still
that
feels like it's a trajectory
Yeah.
though. Because like now
Yeah.
with the whole advent of these MOBA games,
Fortnite.
yeah, like
Oh,
Fortnite,
Fortnite? Yeah,
League of
yeah.
Legends,
Yeah.
Dota, CS:GO, all these
Yeah.
things. It's just like, man, it's getting fucking enormous.
Yeah.
Right.
Like esports are off the charts now.
Yeah.
It's just like, how much more can they get bigger?
Yeah.
Like I thought World of Warcraft was like, it can't get any bigger than this. And now it's just like continuously just keeps growing.
Yeah, I mean, it is getting bigger. Yeah, I've just always hated this like part of the gaming community that was always so like would take camps, would pick camps, but like consoles. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh,
if
I
you
see.
own-
Like tribes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
PC
like
Master Race.
that, I hated that.
Yeah.
And I hated the language.
That
of
is true
too.
though. PC Master Race.
But
for
I hated
sure.
that language too because it implied some sort of supremacy,
It is.
and it was all. But not all PCs are created equal. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
but that's why you should create your own. So it doesn't have to be equal
I
to the
fucking
plate
hated
tier
that.
console.
I hated that whole thing. And anyway, like I hated people who
I gotta
also
just
were
rustle your Jimmy's one. I'm sorry.
Jimmy's are rustled.
Yeah.
No, I hated any fanboyism, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't
You know-
fanboy about something, one? You surely fanboy about something, man.
nah, man, I'm a slave to like prices and shit, man. If something is cheap and
But like
interesting,
quality, you don't have one thing you're just like, damn, this is just fucking immaculate quality. there's something,
Little Caesars pizza.
Oh, this is right. This is the guy who said Olive Garden was as good as the fucking gourmet shit that we had in DC. we went to a restaurant in DC and like a nice ass Italian restaurant,
was
and
good.
Juan was like, "This is
Yeah.
as good as Olive Garden." You fucking
Yeah, because here's the thing.
swine.
No, people romanticize a lot of
Uncultured swine.
no. People romanticize like mom and pop stores.
Yeah,
But in my experience, some mom and pop stores suck. Like
yeah,
some,
but
like,
that one was not,
no,
bro.
no, I meant to say
As good
You're
as
trying to make me
Olive
seem like a
Garden
fucking
was.
shitty taste, but I have excellent taste. Okay, I have
The
excellent
best.
taste.
Sure you do.
The best taste and everything, women, everything. Dude, yeah, I meant to say like it was good for like just picking out randomly. Like I was like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised that we ended up stumbling upon this like really nice restaurant.
You're not convincing me, Juan.
This is what you heard. You heard, oh shit, I'm surprised this is like, like
Nah.
at least on the level of some commercial.
You're trying to qualify so
entity.
hard with that one.
No, because what the thing is, Olive Garden should be the baseline. Everything mom and pop should be above that.
That's
but It's
true.
not.
Oh, I see. You're saying this is as good as
Yes,
Olive Garden,
exactly.
at least.
At least it's good because if you're a mom and
It's
pop
either
store,
great. It needs to be either greater than or equal to Olive
Yeah.
Garden.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
All right, I'll give you
That's what
that
I
one.
meant
I'll
to
give you
say.
that. I'll
Because
concede to you on that.
let's be real. How many places you go to and you're like, damn, this isn't even good.
And it's like a mom and pop.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like some chains.
That's really
that go
disappointing because you're like, I want to support locally, but like if you guys can't even get up here, like get the fuck out. I'm
back.
sorry.
Yeah. See, this is why they're winning. This is why you're losing. Corporate fucking entities are winning.
And well, also the thing is with corporate entities, they kind of cheat sometimes because they know that sometimes the product may not be better, but they know that if they consistently make a product, people acquire it on their palate. And then once they're used to it, it automatically can become the standard.
Is that true?
Yeah, they do it a lot of times. That's one of the most important things that they want is consistency. If you can make a product that's consistently the same taste, that can actually sometimes be more important than having it taste great.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Like
amazing.
pumpkin spice latte, right? This is
Well, I don't
pumpkin,
know.
This is pumpkin spice
I actually
latte.
was thinking of Starbucks in my mind.
Yeah,
Like that was what I was thinking of.
I know you were. I was like, he's probably talking about Starbucks. This is literally a prime example of that.
I have not had
I don't
a
know.
pumpkin
I never
spice
had it.
latte in
Well,
my life.
because any coffee, like if you Starbucks,
Right, because
isn't
Starbucks
great
coffee isn't great,
It's
right?
not great. No,
It's consistently the same and
Exactly.
consistently reliable.
exactly.
Mm.
You go in there with the expectation
Yeah.
of
You know what you're getting.
decent coffee.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
McDonald's, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, fish fillet.
Consistency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
golden brown.
You're right.
Yeah.
And you can get it anywhere and you always know what you're going to get
Yeah.
with some relative standard.
Exactly. So people like that.
Yeah,
That's
they
a-
do.
That's the price of
they'll
convenience.
pay for that for sure.
Unless you go to a mom and pop store and like the fucking fish fries fried to hell, and you're like, the sandwich is no good. I should have just gone to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't even want to take the risk.
Or the fries are too
Like
burnt.
that's actually what they do with peanut butter. A lot of like I saw a thing with a guy where as a chef, he actually made his own peanut butter from scratch, and he would put it in like this one meal, and it was like the greatest peanut butter ever, and people fucking hated it. And then you know what he did? He put in Jiffy, and then people were raving about how great it was because they're so used to that Jiffy taste. Everybody thinks peanut butter is supposed to taste like that. It's just loaded with sugar
Yeah, I know.
and fucking salt. So that's
so he
the
had
kind of
natural
shit.
peanut butter.
Right, he
It
had
was like-
natural peanut butter, but people were so unused to that taste,
Yeah.
they didn't even like it.
Damn.
So
See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe Americans are so saturated with these like stimulating things, right?
yeah,
Like
man, we're just salt.
assaulted.
You know me, man. I can't eat anywhere now because
Literally.
salt's everywhere and everything.
Yeah, literally assaulted
Yeah,
by.
assaulted.
I like how you caught the pun. Like
Yeah, I caught it a little late. That was good. That was good.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, salt and everything.
Favorite restaurant chain.
Like fast food or like
Yeah.
what do you mean
Yeah,
restaurant?
fast food. Let's keep
food.
it fast food.
It could be like any pizza. It could be like Chinese. It could be favorite American.
It's all shit
In-N-Out.
though.
Huh?
It's all shit though.
coming from like California, it's got to be In-N-Out.
Oh,
shit.
this guy fucking in and out. I got things to say about that.
Yeah.
I got words for that.
Let me hear those words.
In and out, the most overhyped place
Oh,
ever.
There's about to be a fight here, guys.
Ever.
Drop the camera.
Yeah, shut the cameras off. Every Californian I've ever met. In and out, bro. In and out.
Yeah.
You gotta have In and Out when you go to California.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this must be like the greatest fucking chain ever. I go to California finally. I'm like, I gotta try In and Out. Everybody says go to In and Out.
Yeah.
I go there. It's fucking immaculate. The service is just like
So good.
so good. They're like machines. Everything is completely clean. I get my fucking stuff. I can't eat anything there really because the burger, I'll qualify with this. I can't eat the beef because I don't eat beef. So I get a burger with just the fucking veggie and the cheese.
Oh,
And I
now
get
that's where
fries.
you went
yeah,
wrong.
like how
But no.
Okay.
But I get fries. I get fries too. So I was like,
Oh.
okay, this should be decent.
Describe the fries for me.
The fries were the soggiest.
Oh man, I was expecting golden
Not-
brown. Like
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. The fries were completely just underwhelming, and I was like, at least this place is gonna have great fries.
so, McDonald's.
People talk about it like it's this full
the
package.
baseline for you is what, McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly. McDonald's, I can eat those fries all day,
Uh-huh.
but In and Out, it was just a soggy
well that the fries
sponge.
the fries sound like a bad experience, right? The fries sound like that's not the typical
A
thing.
buddy
I
of
would
mine
expect.
confirmed this.
Right.
He said that he doesn't get meat there either, so he gets the fries, and he said, and he's not from California. He said the fries were shit. And I was like, you too, huh? You too, huh? Exactly.
Yeah, but anyways, that qualifying statement about not having the meat on a cheeseburger, it seems kind of like what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna judge
But here's
this?
the thing.
The main course. He's talking about. This is the main course.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I go to Five Guys.
Right.
They got fries, bro. They got they got great fries, and they
I do not
and
like
they
Five Guys.
load them up.
Right.
They don't skimp. The
Yeah.
bag is pouring
But
with fries.
Five Guys cost like $1 million, right? It's
That's what I heard is the price
Right.
for In-N-Out.
the whole. That's the whole point. That's the whole appeal of In-N-Out. It's like cost to taste ratio.
If I get better fries
you
at
know.
McDonald's,
It's all I
a
guess.
dollar, what,
No, but
30 or
I-
something?
I can see his argument. The main course you did not judge.
Yeah. So maybe the main course is so much more worth it
Yeah.
that the fries
Yeah.
can be negated.
I mean, I would always say that, like, you know, like if you were to go to some restaurant and have a cheeseburger or something, it's gonna be better than In-N-Out,
Okay,
right?
okay.
That ought to be the case, right?
Yeah.
But it's just on the dollar value.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better
Value.
than any other fast food place
I
that you
got
can
you.
get.
I got you.
It's like the way Little Caesars says they're the number
Come
one.
on, it's a Little
Look
Caesars.
in the sponsor was
Please sponsor me, Little Caesars. You're watching this.
He's really trying for that Little Caesars
Yeah, I
sponsorship.
fucking love Little Caesars, man. No, but it's kind of like that. Like you're saying, you get for the bang for your buck, right?
right.
Like you get the best value meal for the price.
Yeah.
So I get that. I get the appeal
Yeah.
of that. I've never had In-N-Out. They have one in my hometown, but
Oh, really?
yeah, they just put like 2 of them.
Mhm.
So
Oh, shit.
right
I
when
bet
I
they-
left, they had one. So I was like, fuck, I guess I missed out. But I have
Yeah.
to go. I have to go.
But
try
you
it.
had some good shit in Texas.
Yeah.
Canes.
Oh, Raising
When you
Cane's
when you showed me that one, that was
Oh,
definitely better.
dude.
It was better than Zaxby's to me.
Oh,
They're
hell
like Zaxby's is like lead
Yeah.
tier compared to Cane's, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. They actually, I feel like they kill their chickens. Have you ever had?
Yeah. I've had
Raising
raising. They have raising
Like
canes
on the spot?
Cali.
The chicken is so fresh. Like when
It
you
is.
bite
It's
into
nice.
it, juices come out.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is great. Yeah, I don't know. So In-N-Out for you?
Yeah.
You'd say,
Mm.
For fast food.
Terrence?
Oh shit. Fast food. Does Waffle House count?
Yeah.
Waffle House.
Any American chain is
That's
like
just
that.
a southern staple. You know, I'm from Atlanta, so
That's where all
So
the
you
shady
gotta
shit
have-
happens.
Yeah.
that's where all the entertainment happens. You
like
just
the
have the wrong
Walmart.
perspective.
It's like the Walmart of
They
restaurants.
need security at Waffle House because it's like the club.
Yeah.
It's like after you're done at the club, after you're drunk as hell,
Yeah.
you go to Waffle House, you get a show and a meal.
Yeah, they actually don't have Waffle House in California. Like they have so part of
Yeah,
my
because y'all highfalutin freaking
I guess.
veganites and shit
Yeah,
over there.
I don't know, but part of my culture growing up, it's like I grew up in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? So me and my
Mhm.
friends, we would hang out at Denny's like every day.
I was on that shit too.
Denny's, huh?
Yeah.
And it's the same way. I think it's just any place that's open 24 hours. It's like me and my friend were in Denny's like a couple of years ago or whatever, and someone threw a brick through the window, and he thought it was like a gunshot, so he ducked. And it's just like shit always seems to be happening at this fucking Denny's, and I just like these waffle breakfast places.
Yeah,
are
man.
just-
That's probably true.
are just-
I think Steak and Shake is open 24 now too.
oh
aren't they?
yeah, that's right.
I wonder how they are. I went a couple times, but it wasn't ever a Waffle House crazy.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't know if I can combine steaks and shakes together. To be honest.
Well,
Against it
it's
on
really
principle.
cheap,
Because
bro.
that food will literally go in and out. Literally just steaks and shakes. What the fuck are you talking about?
The shake is so good.
Somebody was high when they thought about that shit, man. There's no fucking way
I bet
I
the
would
steak's so
naturally
bad.
combine that.
I bet this.
You bet the steaks are what?
I bet the steaks are so bad. I never
yeah,
had
that's what
them.
I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
I get the chicken fingers and fries. It's like
I've never
$4
even
meal.
gone, so don't ask me. Don't.
Well, they just got one on campus.
Yeah, they got it on campus now, so you're probably gonna have to.
You're gonna
soon.
hit it up now.
Fuck, I guess I have to go now.
It's like one
Yeah.
of 3 options. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is there even 3? I thought there were only 2.
well, there's the Chick-fil-A like across
Oh
campus.
yeah. But you gotta walk for that.
Yeah, they should have a shuttle.
Chick-fil-A shuttle.
Jeez.
Lazy bastard.
That's how American I am. I don't want to have any effort in doing this. No. Damn.
So your favorite fast food is that what you
I don't know, man. I would. Mine is Little Caesars, like hands down.
Yeah, he's been talking about it all
like,
night.
I can't think of anything else. Although I do give, like, we have an equivalent back at home of Waffle House.
Mm.
By the way, it's called Marma Margie's. Shout out to Marma Margie's. It's this taco place. It's a Mexican restaurant, but they have to have security there after 11 p.m. because literally everybody goes there, and a fight will probably break out.
Yeah,
over
people are drunk as
fajitas or
hell.
something. Yeah, people are drunk as hell. You see people you went to high school with there
Right.
who will probably have 2 kids waiting at home for them. And, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just a lot goes on like at that fucking Mom Margie's. And then in high school, I actually used to be on the Denny's wave like hardcore because I was vegetarian, so they had a lot of vegetarian options.
Mm.
They had like they were the first restaurants to really do Boca burgers or something, right?
Mm.
I think Boca. I don't know if you
No.
ever ate vegetarian food.
Not at Denny's.
Yeah, it was good though. It was solid, and I love fucking breakfast food. So
Yeah.
that was
same.
that
I
was
can eat
like on my
breakfast
shit.
food any hour of the day,
Yeah,
but it's really bad for you.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really
Just-
bizarre how that became breakfast, right? Like
Yeah, it is. Like,
pancakes and
it's
waffles.
so
and stuff.
heavy.
Like, how did that become a thing?
Well, it's just
Yeah,
a
I don't
balanced
understand
breakfast,
it.
man.
What?
Like
What?
the idea of breaking
No.
the idea.
syrup and waffle is a balanced breakfast.
Start me off with a wheelchair,
I know,
man.
I'm so
Bacon, grease.
I'm so
No, dude.
brainwashed with Saturday morning cartoons. Fucking
Right.
Part of a balanced breakfast, like just sugar, fucking.
Right.
Yeah, no.
It's so heavy.
yeah,
it
you're
doesn't
right.
make any sense.
No,
really.
what I mean by balanced breakfast. Okay, first of all, a breakfast. What the fuck is a breakfast, right?
Well, just something to get your wheels greased in the morning. You know.
It literally isn't breaking. You're breaking your fast.
You're sleeping
'Cause you're-
fast.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that, like, you know, people. Ideally, you're eating in like a window of like 8 hours or something during the day, and
Right.
then for 16 hours you're fasting in a fasting state, and you break your fast ideally with a balanced meal, which is like fats, carbs, and proteins and shit,
Okay.
right? So
I
mean,
guess.
a typical breakfast sampler. I'm getting into the science of breakfast.
Yeah. Like I'm listening.
I'm a breakfast connoisseur. Okay.
Let me break
The
it down.
breakfast
No, I
expert
literally
over
took
here.
him into a really nice Village Inn. Have you been
Yeah.
to the Village Inn?
Oh, Joe.
Do you like breakfast food?
Yeah.
Okay, Village Inn. If you ever get
Yeah.
the chance, go to
I
that.
might have. I don't know. What in town?
Why people don't fucking share this secret? But Village Inn is amazing. For
Yeah, tell him the theory one.
I forgot.
So one was saying that white people get a memo. get like the annual memo of where the good places are in Tallahassee, and Village Inn is like this little place that you never would suspect,
Sleepy.
Yeah.
and it's like got pretty damn good
Oh.
breakfast.
Yeah.
Like probably one of
already
the
at the
better
top of
breakfast
the
place
list.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Already top of the list.
and I was like, how'd you figure it out?
Is it in
Juan?
Midtown?
He's like, Karina.
Okay.
I got it in.
he found a way to get the memo.
I got it in. I was like, it's like literally, it's such an unassuming locale. It
Right.
it just looks like a. Did you guys ever have Fred's Fish Fry?
No.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, think about a
Fred's?
shady ass restaurant back at home. That you always
picturing
question
it.
yourself.
Denny's.
you always question yourself, but it's the most unassuming place. You're like, who the fuck goes and eats there? I never see anybody doing business there. This is what the Village Inn is. Like, you
But
always
it's not
pass by.
shady.
It's not shady, but
At all.
it looks unassuming. I'll just say
It looks
unassuming.
commercial and just like a shitty place that looks stupid, like you
Yeah.
never go in. Because
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the lettering just looks bland as
Oh
fuck.
hell yeah.
It
Oh.
has no decoration on the outside. There's never really any cars around there that
Yeah.
that seem like
And for some reason,
populated.
something compels white Americans to be like, that place looks nice. Let's go check it out. And then it's like amazing breakfast.
But there were
food.
a lot of black people there when we went.
Oh
there.
yeah, because they've had
They've discovered
generations. They were grandfathered in, man. There's no fucking way. They were like, yeah, man,
Like
let's go check out this
their
place.
like their slave grandparents. They already knew about the Village Inn.
Yeah, it's like
and then they inherited
I'm
that.
telling you, there's no fucking way. Like that's what I'm saying. I came upon it because I was literally told about it from someone adjacent to me.
Yeah.
Like otherwise I would have never gone.
Yeah, I would have. I literally lived over there, and I passed by it like every day, and I was like, I never even thought to go there. It just looks so
Yeah.
unassuming and
Yeah.
uninteresting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. Honorable mentions, Denny's, but by the way, I gotta say, Little Caesars.
Little Caesars.
Okay. Yeah,
That's straight up college saving meal
Yeah.
right there. That's a college ass meal right there.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think my stomach can handle it
Yeah,
anymore.
going back to Little Caesars might be rough for me.
Yeah,
It's just, I don't know what about it, dude. It's just
it'll rip your colon for sure.
Straight up cardboard, man.
Yeah,
It kind of is really shitty pizza. It really is, but
But it's $5.
yeah, exactly.
that's literally the value. I mean, I really don't know what you pay for. I had like my ex-girlfriend actually worked at Little Caesars. I don't. I mean,
So
I
you're
don't know if
hooked
it's
up.
like an aspect of like because
that why
I
you
used to
dated
get
her, Juan?
pizza, right?
Yeah.
Just to be like,
how much you love
I'm just
Little
in it- I'm in
Caesars?
it for the discounts.
Yeah,
No, like, no, I was just like, I guess it was just like a ritual thing. And it was just like, I just have like a taste for Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Like, because we can do it. My family can do anything expensive because you're 5 people. You have to get like the cheapest pizza.
Right.
America's #1 value.
Right.
10 years going. You know what I mean? Like,
He's still trying. He's still working that sponsorship.
Jesus.
No, but
we ain't getting money.
We're gonna have to email Little Caesars after this.
You got to hold back a little bit
Right.
until we get the money.
Right. Exactly.
I literally
We got a 4 whole viewers on this podcast.
I literally would cut the coupons. For some reason, they had proof of purchase shit. I was like, I'm just gonna keep these. I still have the proof of purchase like thing, just to like compile enough. And at the end of my life, I'd be like, I'm an honest returning customer, and I would ask them like, how much, you know, how much does this earn me in lifetime pizzas for my grandchildren? Because
they probably say, get the fuck out of my store.
Am I supposed to be impressed by the amount of fucking pizza?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But I don't know. That's kind of.
I like Little Caesars. What did you do, Juan, when they were out of business for that X amount of time?
They were out of business?
Yeah, man.
The fuck are you talking about? We're
Were
talking
they not
about
in
Little
Texas?
Caesars. Yeah.
The
Wait,
thing
no,
is,
they were. What do you mean
they
they
were in
were
business
out
the
of
whole
business?
time.
Yeah.
So this is what happened in Georgia, at least. Little Caesars existed when I was a kid, maybe
Yeah.
until like 4th grade. Then they all of a sudden, every store closed down. And the only ones that existed were the ones in Kmart. And that says enough right there.
Kmart. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Kmart.
Yeah.
You know Kmart?
Yeah, of course.
But they also went out of business.
Yeah, Kmart.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
those two were like, they were holding on to each other tight. They were going down with the ship. Yeah. And then once Kmart was pretty much done, then Little Caesars was done.
Don't leave me, Jack.
Then, for some reason, Little Caesars, the phoenix from the ashes, comes back,
It revs up.
comes back with a vengeance, and somehow some genius makes the $5 fast and ready.
Yeah.
And now every college kid gets it, and now Little Caesars
hell
is
yeah.
king of the town again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do they pull this? I don't know.
I don't know, man, but I do remember that I tweeted one time about Little Caesars. I was like, yeah, you know, it's kind of fishy that they say, why do they put real cheese? But when they say real cheese, they trademark the real part.
So they can just get away with not having real cheese and then calling it real.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, now I don't trust you because now you've trademarked whatever the fuck real is.
It's their definition of
Yeah.
real. All right.
Yeah, I just like real, and then you look at the asterisk. Actually, not real.
It's actually like mole rat milk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some
That,
gross shit.
that reminds me. I got to share an experience I had recently. On a Halloween, we went to, me and Irene went to Momo's, right? Across.
Can you
the way.
fill in the audience?
So
what
Momo's
Momo's is like this pizza place where they have these super ginormous slices. You know, it's like half the size of my torso.
Right.
Right. And so we were getting food for one of our friends, Frank, who's vegan. Right. So we got the pizza with the vegan cheese, and we happened to get extra large, right? Because it was like we had a group of people, and so we got this huge ass pizza. It barely fit in my car.
It's like 22 inches or something,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah. It's
Crazy huge.
yeah, it's crazy huge. And then I had so I didn't know how I'd feel about the vegan cheese, you know, but I've never met a pizza I didn't like, you know. So
Right.
until that day, that was like
shit.
that was like literally the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my life. Like I was just like it was like eating like glue, or like it was like the
dude.
consistency of like some super thick like cum or something. You know, it's like you chew it and nothing happens to it, and it just slides down your throat.
That sounds disgusting.
So I'm warning you now for public
Never.
education.
Yeah.
You know, there's some pretty bad vegan cheese out there apparently, and just completely avoid it. Just get it without the cheese
I
at
see.
that point.
I would have been so mad, dude.
Well, isn't there pizza with like pesto?
Yeah.
Like you can eat like that's not that's vegan, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm saying just like skip the cheese, sans the cheese. Just give me the fucking marinara sauce and some bread, and I'll be happier than what fucking monstrosity you gave me there.
Wait, vegan? Oh, he's vegan.
Yeah.
That means no cheese because it comes from, cow. Yeah, that's terrible. I would never fuck with gluten-free anything.
How can you enjoy anything?
But now you fully convinced me to never do it.
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
why?
Vegetarian's hard, but vegan's much harder because of cheese. Strictly because of trees.
Yeah.
Like you could use that in a fucking
and eggs probably too, right?
Yeah, eggs.
Yeah.
How? I don't know. I guess. Look, I was vegetarian, but I couldn't do veganism.
Vegan seems like that extra level of just like fuck.
I'm not going to enjoy anything. I might as well be Buddhist and give up my life and anything I enjoy because life is suffering and enjoying anything is time.
Just inject your fucking nutrition,
Yeah.
Soylent.
Yeah,
Soylent.
Yeah.
Like at this point, like you're just eating out of functionality.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't particularly. I am of that philosophy where I eat because my brain needs food.
But you enjoy food.
I don't know if I enjoy food.
I don't know how could that possibly be true? If that was the case, then you'd be fucking eating rice and beans every day.
I used to, but the thing is, now that I have a little bit of money, I'm like, I might as well eat something that tastes good. I mean, it's not to say
like that's a revolutionary concept.
Well, it's not
the human condition, my friend.
I know, but I like some people have a sexual experience with food.
I do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I fucking love to eat a good meal.
And I'm just like,
Like I'll pay good money for a good meal.
Yeah, see, I'm not like that.
It's
I'm
like
not,
a religious experience for me.
What about you? Do you think food is orgasmic or is food like,
I don't know about orgasmic, but closer to that.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I jerk off when I eat.
It sounds very unsanitary. But
I really don't.
I eat with the fork with the other hand. Come on.
Yeah, how do you do Chinese food? Chopsticks?
I would just say, like, not enjoying food sounds like a terrible way to live. It sounds like you've either not been exposed to the right types of foods that actually, you've spent the time like to research, like explore. Cuisine.
Yeah.
But
well, this is Mr. Olive Garden over here. / Little Caesars.
But I have really shitty taste.
But if you did went through the trouble of exploring it and you still felt that way about it, I'd just be like, man, that sucks, dude.
I don't know, man.
Sucks to be you.
Sucks to suck. It kind of does. Maybe I tainted my taste buds early on because I used to be a really fat kid and I used to saturate myself with sodas and fucking, you guys were on Sprite Remix. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
I used to love Sprite Remix.
No,
maybe you might be too young for that.
Right?
Yeah. Sprite Remix was like Sprite.
Oh, was it really that old now?
Dude, it came out in 2000s, man.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's so good, but it's
been discontinued from then on, right?
Oh, but they were super popular. I don't know why they brought it back, but
I don't know.
The point is, I saturated the hell out of my fucking taste buds.
Full on sugar.
I used to hide zebra cakes under my bed.
You were a little fat ass, huh?
I was a piece of shit. It's like I literally came home one time and I was like, "Who the fuck ate my zebra cake?" I was so mad and crying and tears were coming out. I was like, dude, I love this shit way too much, man. So maybe I've been hurt.
So yeah, it sounds like a psychological thing.
Took away his first love.
Maybe that's what it is. I was like, I enjoy food too much. I gotta really just scale it back a little.
Those wounds are still healing.
It's too.
Yeah, you gotta learn to love again, my friend.
Yeah, I really do.
How are you looking on time?
But yeah, guys, we gotta fucking clock it out. So, Joe.
Yes.
It was fun having you on.
Thank you for having me on for the second/first time.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, the camera went out on us.
Yeah, that's okay.
So
they don't need to see me.
You never are here on a good, completely,
fully functional.
Yeah, fully functional day. We'll have to have you again.
Yeah, man.
Get you a full,
true,
a full experience.
And with that, we'll have Bill O'Reilly take us out.
Hit it, Bill.
Oh, I'm playing classical
music. Playing the wrong shit.
We'll do it live.
Oh, what piece is that?
Fucking things suck.
I like the classical music with Bill.
know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? To end the show? 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 To end the